I raised my son with everything I had. I wasn't handed an easy life, but I made sure he never saw the struggle. I worked 2 jobs, skipped new clothes, counted every dollar, just to make sure he had shoes that fit, a roof over his head, and a future worth dreaming of. I missed birthdays, doctor appointments, and dinner tables just so he could have his. There were days I cried into a pillow at night, wondering if I was doing enough. But I never gave up, because he was my world. Years passed, and I watched him grow into a man. I was proud, beyond words, when he graduated, got a job, and found love. When he got married, I felt like I gained a daughter. I cooked for them, helped set up their home, cleaned on weekends, watched their child so they could rest. I never made a fuss. I just wanted to be helpful. I didn't want to be in the way, just around if they needed me. But one afternoon, while folding laundry at their house, something I'd done dozens of times without a complaint, I overheard her talking on the phone in the kitchen. "Yeah, she's always here," she said, giggling. Basically like our maid at this point. She laughed hard. I stood there in that hallway, laundry basket in hand, frozen in place. My heart dropped. I wasn't eavesdropping. I wasn't trying to snoop. But those words hit me like a slap in the face. I walked into the room, looked her in the eye, and didn't raise my voice. I didn't break down. I simply placed the house keys on the counter and said, "Good luck with the mortgage." She stared at me, confused at first, until the weight of what I said landed. You see, what she didn't know was that I owned that house. I bought it for them as a wedding gift, put it in their name, paid the down payment, helped with the move, because I believed in giving the next generation a better start than I had. But if my presence in that home made me the maid in her eyes, then maybe she needed to learn what life felt like without the one holding everything together. I left that day with tears in my eyes, but not from sadness, from clarity. There comes a time when silence is no longer love. When walking away isn't weakness, it's wisdom. I wasn't raised to be stepped on. I didn't raise my son to watch it happen either. Sometimes the loudest message is the quietest action. Weeks passed, then months. I didn't hear from either of them. No calls, no texts, not even a check-in from my son. And though I missed them, I stood my ground. I spent those days rediscovering my peace. I went for long walks, joined a book club, finally painted the guest room. I was reclaiming the parts of myself I had given away too easily. But deep down, I knew life had a way of teaching lessons that no words ever could. The house started falling apart without me. Not just physically, though the yard grew wild, the fridge empty, and the laundry piled up, but emotionally. My son was working long hours, the baby was sick more often, and the reality of bills, stress, and maintaining a home was no longer something they could joke about. I heard from a neighbor that the lights were out for days, that eviction letters started appearing in the mailbox, that my daughter-in-law was seen crying on the front steps. My heart didn't leap with joy, it broke. Because I didn't want them to fail. I only wanted them to value what they had. Then one evening, I heard a knock on my door. I opened it to find my son, standing there with tears in his eyes and a look I hadn't seen since he was a child. A look of humility, of regret, of needing his mother. He didn't try to explain. He just stepped in and hugged me so tight, I felt every silent apology in his arms. When we finally sat down, he looked at me and said, "I didn't stop her. I should have. You didn't deserve that. I forgot who built me." That's when I told him something I'd kept in my heart all these months. You forgot, but I forgave. Because I didn't raise you to be perfect. I raised you to grow. And he did. Slowly, quietly, with intention. He started showing up again, helping me with groceries, taking the baby by himself so his wife could rest. And one day she came too. She stood on my porch, hands shaking, eyes filled with something she hadn't shown me before. Remorse. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "You were never the maid. You were the mother I didn't know how to appreciate." It wasn't a fairy tale ending, but it was real. Forgiveness is never about pretending something didn't hurt. It's about choosing peace over poison. And in that moment, I chose peace. Not because they deserved it, but because I deserved to be free of the weight of bitterness. If you're reading this and you've ever been made to feel small in a space you helped build, I want you to hear this loud and clear. You are not a burden. You are not invisible. You are the reason things work. You are the reason others succeed. Your kindness is not weakness. It's your superpower. Don't let anyone rewrite your worth with careless words. And if they do, walk away with grace and watch how the world remembers what it lost.